Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Stuff 101. This is day 21 of the series of mini challenges as part of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. My name is Mio Yokoi. I work as a registered psychotherapist in Toronto, Canada, and also as a coach and supporter to striving, highly sensitive folks everywhere. Before we begin, I'd like to make sure to mention that what I share on this podcast is for general information purposes only and not meant to be specific advice. And for personalized help, questions, or concerns you may have, please consult your doctor or appropriate medical or mental health care provider. And welcome to day 21 of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. Still a bit of a tongue twister for me. The goal of this podcast is to inspire folks to take care of their mental health on an ongoing basis, and this time, more than ever, is a crucial time to do so. These self-care challenge episodes are meant to give you a little something to add a bit of structure to your day to help with self-care. It's my hope that by building in some time for self-care, it might also help you to support your mental and emotional health during this time. And even if these prompts serve as distractions for a few minutes in your day, I hope that can be of help too. And I'll be making sure to repeat in every one of these challenge episodes that it's a challenging time in our lives, and it's enough just getting through day by day at this point. So these self-care prompts are here to support you. And it's not about productivity. It's about taking care of you and self-care. And if you'd like to be notified when each of these episodes are uploaded, you can either subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also go on over to lifestuff101.com/challenge, which has a list of every episode. And before we dive into day 21 of the challenge, the day 20 challenge prompt was, watch a TED Talk and drink a glass of water. As we talked about in the previous episode, learning doesn't always have to come from books or dedicated studying. One of the positives of technology is that we have access to knowledge and learning, sometimes from those who have dedicated their lifetimes to a certain subject matter, as long as it's possible for us to connect online. TED Talks is only one entity that provides a lot of educational content. But as I'm sure you already know, YouTube can be a wealth of all kinds of subject matters. And unlike the traditional classroom model, there are so many creative people with knowledge who teaches while also entertaining. My husband's been diving pretty deep into the history of Tolkien and Middle-earth, and I've been learning a lot about cooking. If you've been thinking about learning something during this time, maybe it can be made a bit easier by finding a content creator who's focused on your area of interest, and you might be able to start learning that way. And once the ball gets rolling, you might find that you found some motivation to continue learning. And as for drinking water, since the majority of us are made up of water, it's a crucial nutrient. And since over 80% of our brain is water, if we're not properly hydrated, it means that we may not be functioning optimally on a cognitive basis, but it can also impact our mood too. Also, as a reminder that drinking coffee is dehydrating and not hydrating, if you're a regular drinker of caffeinated beverages, please be sure to drink enough water to keep hydrated. What are some areas of interest you have wanted to learn about? Please reach out and let me know. You can find me on Twitter at LifeStuff101pod or on Instagram at LifeStuff101podcast or on the website at lifestuff101.com. So for today, 21 of the Self-Care Challenge, the prompt is, take breaks from social media to support your mental health. If you've been looking into self-care during this time, one of the first and very helpful recommendations is to limit your time on social media. And well, especially during this time when there's a level of uncertainty and a lot of news available to be consumed, it's easier than ever to turn to social media to see what's new and what's going on. Limiting social media to get away from the never-ending stream of information, especially during this time, is definitely a practice to consider as a self-care practice to take care of our mental health. But another reason to take breaks from social media, and to a large extent this has been true since the advent of social media itself, is that the information available and how any of us or many of us are feeling at any given time can have an impact on our emotional and mental health. We may easily find that we compare ourselves to the seeming experience or accomplishments of others. That can be especially challenging now as many of us struggle with this idea of what we quote unquote should be doing with our time right now. Remember, each of us are dealing with our own individual experiences of coping with this time, and just like it's often quoted, comparisons are the thief of joy. Yes, but for some of us who may be more vulnerable, and again, especially at this time of experiencing increased stress, it can also rob us of confidence and our self-esteem. There are plenty of people who are sharing their accomplishments, productivity of the state of their lives right now, but we all have individual circumstances. And just because there may be others who appear to be doing things you feel you should be doing, it doesn't mean that your experience would be the same as theirs. And it's also possible that what many people present in specific ways on social media are very usually not as perfect as it's portrayed. It's like comparing our daily individual experience to people in movies or TV who have a crew of people helping them look the way they do. Real life is not nearly as perfect. Comparisons are a tough game to begin with, but if you do find that you're comparing yourself to others, try to be objective as possible and really understand or try to understand what you're comparing yourself to. But if at all possible, avoid the comparison game. I know it's easier said than done, but if this is something you can get a good handle on, it can save you a lot of internal turmoil. With that said, here are the steps for today's challenge. Step 1. Commit to limiting your social media exposure to once or twice today for 15 minutes each, tops, to complete today's challenge. Step 2. Before beginning each social media session today, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Step 3. Whatever your social media platform of choice is, or choices are, set a timer on your phone or computer for 15 minutes to checking all of your accounts, or decide on 1 or 2 you want to dedicate time to during that session. Do your best to look through, but not stop and get too deep into any given post. Step 4. End off the 15 minutes by taking 3 slow, deep breaths. Step 5. If you decide to check a second time, complete steps 2 to 4. I hope you're continuing to take care during this challenging time. Just as a reminder that you can find all the episodes of the Self-Care Challenge on the website at lifestuff101.com/challenge. So that's day 21 of the Challenging Times Self-Care Challenge. Take breaks from social media to support your mental health. Thank you for participating in these challenges, and please stay tuned for day 22 of the Self-Care Challenge. Until then, please stay safe and in good health wherever you are in the world, and I'll be speaking with you again real soon.